Get off your ass and do it. What are you hiding? What are you afraid of? Stop neglecting yourself. Get out of this relationship.
And welcome to another edition of Unexplained Cases Medium. You've got Rick Garner and Maryam the Medium.
Maryam the Medium. Hi.
You know, actually, I think what we could do is we could have guest people. Basically, they could actually say the intro because it's always the same thing. You know, I mean,
Well, I hope so.
Could make a song out of it though. That could be nice. Hey, Aaron. Hey, Vicky. Welcome and happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you as well. You know, so I'm going to let people in on a little secret I was trying to do. I have a
yes.
I had a Santa hat around here somewhere. I was going to have that on, and I can't find it.
Oh, darn.
Maybe I can find it by the 10 o'clock show tonight because everybody wants to see me in a Santa hat.
Oh my gosh, this is your last opportunity. Oh, it just occurred to me. Oh my God, my time is just, you're right. Oh, you did blow that. Go look for it during the pick a card.
Well, see, well, you know, it's somewhere allegedly, but you know, the teenager borrowed it basically, so I can blame it.
You're screwed.
I know
it's gone. It's at someone's house under their bed.
I mean, there's so many possibilities. Hey, Jess, welcome everybody. As usual, you know, just to let you know, a reminder of how things flow would be if you have a question, be sure drop that in the comments. We'll get to that at the end of the show. Between now and then, quite a few things going on. We've got there's pick a card. There's also some animal communication, and there is a revisiting of an original case, if you will. It definitely was a case that we did back in last year when things were normal. But we'll be checking that out during the show as well to have a little revisit of that. But speaking of revisiting, actually tonight, our 10 o'clock Eastern show, Unexplained Cases Live, we're going to be revisiting a case that we opened up on this program just a couple of weeks ago. And it's going to be rather intense, I think would be the simplest way to describe it.
Hey everybody, coming up tonight on Unexplained Cases Live. It is a sequel, part 2 in a battle of good versus evil. Maryam taking on the entities that have been terrorizing a family in Maryland. It took place before. We're going back to the small town of Snow Hill. Maryam helped Kimberly Worth and her husband rid their rural property of a pair of dark spirits appearing in the shadow form, but also inflicting physical harm on the couple. Maryam is calling for backup in this latest showdown. Psychic artist Angela Boley is joining forces to help cleanse the property, but she's going to need some help from our viewers too tonight to take on arguably one of her biggest challenges yet, to rid Kimberly's home of evil once again. It's a special edition of Unexplained Cases Live tonight at 10 p.m. on the East Coast, 7 p.m. on the West Coast. We'll see you then.
So that's tonight.
And then it was, did Mike send something about the forest they live around? That's considered like one of the most haunted, or was that, that was, I was like.
It's just ground zero for all sorts of fun there, basically. So they're just right in the middle of all of it. So.
All right, me and Angela can handle it.
Exactly. You know, and that required a sound effect too. You know, that's always appropriate like that. So. See. This is why the show has a 12-year-old sense of humor. It's great in that particular case, which is why it's probably better to move on to more important things.
I want to do another Oliver Teaches segment. I realized last week I told an Oliver story. I think it was last week, right?
I think so.
And Oliver has another story, another way he teaches. Our pets teach us. Animals in general teach us. Animals are teachers, whether they are domesticated or not. But especially if you have animals in your home, they reflect you, and they are teaching us. Oliver has been so fascinating because he had a really hard life. He's only like 3-something years old, but the first few years was really hard. But when we had, this last year, Louis got sick with cancer, and Oliver, first of all, Oliver had we realized Louis was sick because Oliver kept sniffing him, and we took him and found out they had cancer. And anyway, as those treatments were happening, we chose to do chemo for Louis, and every time that Bruce would take Louis out, bring him back, Oliver would become really possessive over Louis, very protective over Louis. He wouldn't want Bruce going near him. He would get in between them. He would bark. And then a little bit later, Oliver did the same thing with Daisy. We saw him sniffing out Daisy, and we were like, here we go. Daisy has cancer, but we're not treating it with chemo. We're doing it 100% natural. Chinese medicines, I mean, you name it, we're doing it. But that's the point of the story, is that Oliver's behaving the same way. When Bruce takes Daisy out, if needed, to go for a treatment, and we don't go with him, he becomes very possessive and protective over Daisy. And especially with Bruce, because Bruce is the one that typically does all of that. Or Bruce is the one that will give shots or give medicine or whatever that is. And so Oliver will get protective and jump in the middle and bark. And I'm telling you this because Oliver's information is misconstrued. Oliver's past has damaged him and then confused him. And so he's not able to read the situation 100% accurately. We do that. Right? If we haven't healed our past, if we haven't healed our wounds, if we haven't worked through our experiences, then it will absolutely cloud today's choices and relationships and exchanges. Oliver will grow out of it because we're training him differently. We're retraining his brain to realize that he no longer needs to be that way, be fearful like that. But do we do that to ourselves? Do we retrain ourselves? We have one incident and then we duplicate it with different people, but the same incident, the same experience, the same emotions, right? And then everything is clouded because we haven't worked through that experience. We can retrain a dog, we can retrain a human, but it's up to you, and are you doing it? So that's the question for today that I want you to ask yourself. Are you retraining yourself to be open and seeing things as they are, not as you cloud it with your past experiences, right? All right, let's see what deck. Oh, there we go. There we go. Let me see. We might only have 2 today. All right. We're just going to do 2 today. Card 1, card 2, card 1, card 2. Card 1. I laugh because the visual I'm being given is like you're wrapped up in a cocoon, and you're waiting patiently to come out. And so it is correct for you to just be waiting and for you to just be still. Like that is the correct place for you to be in right now. That stillness and that patience and that trust, like we were talking about earlier today on Manifest 2021, patience is knowing, not waiting, but knowing, right? Knowing that whatever it is that you are creating is coming. And so that's where you're at. And you want to be able to implement that knowing that what you have been creating is coming. It's going to be in a few more months, 2 months, maybe 3 months, you'll start to see like tangible results. But you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Card 2. These cards are stunning, by the way. I love them so much.
Oh, show us.
There's the card 1. It's hard. So now look at these cards have faces here. You can't, I don't know if you can see it, but it's so like for those of you that are really working to open your intuition and your third eye, this deck is really, I mean, all decks are good for it, but wait, I'm trying to find the, oh, it's this one. It's this, the Crystal Spirits. Anyway, I know, Rick, you're going to rush out and buy them right now. So, petrified wood. That's what card 2 is. Can you see that? Well, hello. Can you see? Oh, there's that face. Third eye. Just what I was talking about. So weird.
No, what's going to be weird is if you see my face in the card. That's going to be weird. So.
Oh, gosh. You're so self-centered. Just kidding. You're like, that's like the last thing you are. You are the opposite of that.
Oh, shucks.
You probably could go a little more to the other side now that we talk about it. You could have a little bit more self-esteem.
Oh, thank you.
Do you want me to do a full-blown reading on you in front of everybody right now? Sorry, I was like getting more information. I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't talk about his personal life in front of everybody. Okay, so.
I'm an open book.
All right, sorry, card 2. We always digress. All right. Card 2 is about your third eye. It's about your intuition. It's about you making peace with your intuition. Some of you haven't made peace with it. You battle with it. Well, it's not matching up with my religion, or it's not matching up with what I was taught, or this book says not to do this, or I don't like the way it feels when I know something, or I don't like knowing things, blah, blah, blah. It's time for you to make peace with it because it ain't going away. So you can either make peace with it and embrace it and have a fulfilling life, or you can be like the severed head. I'm just kidding. That's not funny.
No, it's not. But
I mean, look at the face, and then the stone.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry. You know what? Fair analogy, Spirit. It was nasty. It could have been a little softer, but that's not really my style to be softer. So
no, that's okay.
So don't be a severed head. That's the takeaway. That's the mantra for today. I do not want to be a severed head.
I'm putting that on a t-shirt.
No, the severed head means the total disconnect. And that disconnect causes friction and pain in the physical body. So for some of you that might be listening and going, I don't care about my intuition, or it's fine, or it's or whatever it is, you know, oh my God. Okay, I was going to digress for a second. So it reminded me of something. Today when I was doing my Instagram live, people leave comments or questions. And so it showed that I had a comment or a question. So I clicked on it, and it was a thumbs down. And I laughed because I was like, you hate me that much that you made sure to send me a thumbs down during my live. I thought it was awesome. It made me think of that when I was talking about being disconnected with a severed head. Because when you're disconnected, you react. When you're disconnected, you suffer. When you're disconnected, you use just the head brain, which is the right, wrong, good, bad, yes, wrong, yes, no. Whereas the heart, when we're connected to the cosmos, that connection comes through the heart, through the gut, and now there's a way through. And now there's compassion. And now you can laugh at things like that. You can laugh at admitting, okay, I have a severed head, like I need to connect. But my point for you guys in this card, all seriousness, is I feel like this card in particular right now, like intuition, and I have felt this way before about this. Maybe some of you guys have returned. Like intuition is just like this trick. It's just like this thing. It is what it is. It's, you know, it doesn't affect my life. Like it's not changing my life. So why do I care? And here's the deal. If you are not utilizing it, or worse, you're repressing it, it's 100% affecting your life. And Whereas when you embrace it and use it, it changes your life. Okay. So you have the option to change your life or have it affect your life in a painful, disconnected way. But either way, it is absolutely having an impact on your physical body, on your mental health, and on your spiritual health. So find that daily practice. Fix it. Easy fix. That was a weird reading, wasn't it? Yelled, you guys. I talked about severed heads. Geesh, no one's coming back.
I'm
Everyone
printing
left.
shirts. I mean, just everything.
That's it. No 3, just 2.
Just 2? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. You
You
were
obviously were you looking for your Santa hat because they said the only 2 cards fell out.
Oh, well, okay. Well, see, I was like playing with people in the comments and just doing my thing, and I'm just like,
Still
blah,
no Santa hat.
blah, blah, blah. Well, no, I've got people. I have to tend to people. I'm here for the people.
Oh, you have a job?
I'm the people's servant here, basically, you know. Hey, Debbie from Louisiana, you're down from my neck of the woods there, the neighbor there, since I grew up in Mississippi. So it's always nice to catch someone there. But lots of good stuff going on in the chat. So that's interesting. That's the first time we've only had a dose.
I know.
So,
I know.
you know. So
I
hey,
know.
you.
No, I don't make the rules. I just follow them.
You know.
I mean, if they're coming from spirit, I follow them. They come from anyone else, I don't follow them.
Right. You never know what's going to happen. But speaking of not knowing what's going to happen, and
What's going on over
Henry, so Henry's interrupting the broadcast. Henry is with my cats, basically playing with like an empty water bottle, plastic bottle. I was just like, dude, bro, what are you doing? I mean, you're on the set. Thought I taught him better than that. We've got 2 cats, and you couldn't have more different personalities, basically. And Henry is like the thug who gets into trouble. He's just that's the naughty child, and Percy is all prim and proper, the good boy, and like that. So it's hilarious, basically, the 2 of them.
That's cute.
So speaking of them, we do have an animal communication that we could play, but before we do that, we could tackle the paranormal pick, but I didn't want to just immediately throw that out there if you didn't happen to have that like in front of you or anything like that.
I got it right here. Paranormal pick for today. Bam.
So wow, look at that. Look at you go. Well, then I guess I probably should roll. And this is one of these new segments that we recently added, and it's just because there's so many of these cool picks that are floating around. So let's.
All right. So just a heads up, Daisy woke up, so anything's possible. She runs into everything. I mean, it's not her fault. She's blind. But I mean, you start to see the camera go like this. That's why. Okay.
Yeah, there's a reason.
Not an earthquake. It's just Daisy.
Right.
Okay. So do you want to? I'm sorry. Did you already share something about this pick? Did you want to, or no? You just want me to go for it?
Well, this is just for folks. Hopefully they can see it. But basically, this was on Instagram. This was from Ghost Girl Memoirs, and reading the information there. The photo was sent to me by a good friend, taken about 6 years ago, in a house where they experienced paranormal activity. To this day, she's bothered by the figure standing behind her daughter. This was taken on a cell phone camera. Could this figure be a source of some of the paranormal activity they're still having?
Okay.
Which, that's a pretty interesting picture.
Yeah. I know it said she's bothered by the figures behind her daughter. Okay. Yeah, the thing is, this figure doesn't just stand behind people, it moves through them.
Mm.
And the reason why that was captured so well was because it was like moving out of her. It was like moving through her like this, which we've never seen that before. Talked about that before, I should say. And that's why it was captured. And that's why it was captured so well, because it was just coming out of her.
Wow.
He's harmless though. Oh, incoming. Hold on. All right. Here we
And
go.
introducing Daisy. Da, 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 da.
She's not done, so
Hey, you know,
okay.
it's all good.
She's
It's
coming
the
back
Daisy
more.
show.
Hold on, people. This has been like 12 years of life with Daisy, though. When you hear her coming, you hear her collar shake and you just hunker down. My mom knows. She's like, you lift your feet, get the shoes, whatever. She's coming after you. And you guys seen the video. She looks and she just, oh my God. She's taking, okay. She looks for stuff to steal and then chew on.
Mm.
Hold on. I just don't want this light falling on her. Okay. Are we okay? Is this, we're good?
See?
All right.
Good. Hey, great.
Where was I? Okay, so this being is not harmful, but
Okay.
it is very much in the home. It is very much the one causing activity. It kind of like they just showed me, like, he like walks by and just knocks stuff over. Like, he's kind of a jerk. He's like, I'm just like messing with things just out of nowhere. Will just like that's just what he does. He's just annoying. He's not harmful.
Okay.
And that's why he likes to like move in. He likes to agitate and aggravate. And has figured out how he can walk like through people. It's really strange.
Looks to be about, yes. I mean, I wouldn't have immediately said male. I guess my first thought, but since you said that, I mean, it kind of appears like maybe young 20s, not a teenager, but
that's the feeling you get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then you're probably right. I didn't get a age, but for sure, yeah.
Interesting.
Makes sense, and the behavior would make sense.
Right.
Right. It's kind of a 20-year-old mentality. I mean, I don't know. I'm just passing judgment here. I don't have kids. But when I was a 20-year-old, I was doing, I was a pain in the butt. So that's really all he is.
Okay. Interesting. So no trouble there. And wow, you two are just being naughty today.
Is that the meowing I hear? They're fighting?
They're having one of their little playful scraps, except you remember, he's the prim and proper one. He'll handle it for about so long, but he usually is the instigator. And then he like wants to be like I didn't start anything. Someone help me. And I'm like, bro, really? Come on. You if you're gonna dish it, you need to be able to take it, man. Okay. So it's just usually, normally you have the animal interruptions. It's normally like crickets over here, and they're decided to say, hey, you know what? It's our turn now. So we're gonna have a little fun today for sure. So speaking of animals,
hi Maryam, I have 1,000,010 questions I would love to ask you, but I've managed to get it down to 4. I'm very close with my pets, my family pets, but I'm moving out next year and I think they're not going to take it very well. So I was wondering if there was anything I could do to make it easier for them, that transition. Also, well, I can take my cat with me, but I'm 99% sure that he would not want to move to a little apartment, but I'd love to confirm that. Also, I'd like to ask why my dog Bowie the Rottweiler Cross, why he's so scared of absolutely everything. He's the biggest wuss. And finally, my brother's cat went missing nearly 12 months ago, and I would love to know if he's okay. Thanks, Maryam.
okay, she's just adorable. Of course, I love the Australian accent too on top of that.
So cute. I know. She was really sweet. Okay, what's so funny? I wish you guys could hear what goes on in my head. Even though it's not my head, it's the cosmos, but you know what I mean. So as soon as she was like, Charlie, so just so you know, you guys know, I spend very the time, like when you guys email me or send me pictures, like I don't deal with any of it until the day of, so that there's no communication happening. It can all be very authentic. But anyway, as soon as she says, Charlie the cat, bringing Charlie with her to her apartment, Charlie's like, nope. It was so funny. He's like, no, what are you thinking? But also, I'd prefer if you didn't leave. So Charlie has kind of that typical cat personality where it's like, I want what I want, even if you cannot deliver it. Like, no, I don't want you leaving, but no, and no way in hell am I going with you. He's strong though. Like he's strong, but his heart's gonna struggle for a bit. But he'll be okay. He'll be fine. I mean, they're animals. Animals are not nearly as screwed up as human beings are. So animals are able to heal and move on. Do they mourn? Yes. Do they have a hard time? Yes. But they will always, move on. I say that just so you don't freak out when I say they're going to go through a transitional period. So Nala is so cute. Nala is so like, I'll go with the flow. I mean, she's like, I'll go with the flow, but then the moment you're gone, she's going to be like, hang on, wait a minute. That wasn't the flow I was referencing. She's a little goofy. Okay, and then why is Bowie scared of everything? Oh, Bowie. These animals are too silly. They just have silly, goofy personalities. Bowie just he's just he it's he is scared, yes, but I need to kind of back up for a minute. It's anxious energy that's startled. Like he's startled easily because his energy, it's his sensitivity. It's like they're showing me his energetic sensitivity. He's okay, so he's super sensitive. So sounds, feelings, energies, he's sensitive. It almost hypersensitive. It's almost a little painful for him. So he gets scared easily because he's embodying the experience. So you might hear a trash can and your mind understands it's a trash can, but he not only hears the trash can, but he feels and experiences the energy coming from the trash can, from the truck, from the guy jumping off, from the noise, from the this, from the that. Like, it's a lot for him. It's a lot. Like he's vibrates. It's a lot. Lavender would do him well, but please research lavender with pets. What's safe, what isn't safe. So lavender, even if it's a lavender or like is there such thing as lavender quartz? I don't know. If there is, look into that. Lavender scented things, but be careful with lavender scents. Again, you got to make sure it's pet safe. He needs it's like bringing his aura in a little bit would help. Okay. But he got a lot of energy in that house between the people and the animals. And so he's always going to be that way. Just be sensitive to him being so sensitive. And then the last question was heartbreaking. The black kitty you guys are seeing went missing. I don't know how to pronounce the name. Zaius. Do you know how to say that, Rick? Zeus? It's not Zeus, right? I was looking for a Santa hat, I think.
No, I don't recall the pronunciation.
You gave up on that? Anyway, he went missing. That's her brother's cat. So let me see. God, that cat's a traveler. I mean, I'm surprised he stayed as long as he did. It's like I see him with like one of those, like the old school was at cartoons where the kid carries the stick with the sack on the end of the stick. Like that's what he's like. He's like this old cat soul that travels. And I'm surprised he stayed as long as he did. Oh, he stayed for Will. Okay. He stayed for Will. That's why he's saying I stayed as long as I did. Will needs Will needs some redirection, and needs to find that by utilizing his own intuition. And there was their relationship had like this give and take where, I don't know how to say his name, I don't want to botch it. Dr. Zace was taking on and helping him kind of find that intuition, find that higher self, which is what animals do. They have that subconscious role in our lives. But it was time for Will to take things on his own and learn things on his own without a support. Even though it's important that Will always has animals in his life, their partnership was complete. And this kitty's actually his spirit guide. I don't know that he's passed, but it doesn't matter. He's considered one of his guides. So he should connect and call him regularly. But he's a traveler. That's just his thing. And again, he keeps saying, I stayed longer than I really should have. That's just not who I am. So let me make sure I got all your questions. So I'm sorry, basically to answer your question, he's fine. It's exactly how it was supposed to be. He's not like, with a lot of cats, people think they're scared and they're lost and they're freaking out, and a lot of cats just aren't. they leave because they want to leave. Whereas when dogs get out, there's this fear that just, drives them to just run and not knowing why they're running and what they're doing. Cats don't do that. And now, not all cats. I've definitely read cats that wanted and needed to redirect and come back, but not this one. This guy is a traveler, and he stayed as long as he was supposed to. He's Will's guide, and Will's supposed to redirect himself. And I think there's work that Will's supposed to be doing that's a little bit more like compassionate, intuitive, gentle. It's like a change in his life path. Okay. All right. Do you mean to have me here? Or are you playing the video? Should I banter while we wait for the video to come up with myself or with Oliver? Oh, there's a video. I can't hear. Can anyone else hear?
I'm standing in between that energy and you right now. He can't get to you. It can't get to you. But I'm standing there. He knows he can't do anything as long as I'm in the room. Unexplained Cases introduced me to a girl named Ashley. Ashley has been having some dark or even demonic experiences for the last few years with an entity that is in her home. The reason why Ashley hasn't reached out in all this time is because she kept thinking it would go away and it would stop, or that maybe it wasn't even happening. But it was happening, and it is happening. So we have gotten together over Skype and met with Ashley and have guided her to hopefully a safer place energetically and a better understanding of what's happening and why. Have you talked to someone about this prior? How come it's taken 7 years? How come it's lasted that long?
Mostly because it would just come in waves, and then all of a sudden everything would just stop, and I'm like, all right, cool, that was whatever. How about we just leave it alone? The last thing that kind of sparked all of this was, I don't remember walking into my room to go to sleep. Apparently I fell asleep. I walked down to the living room, and my youngest son screamed in terror and ran away from me. And then I smiled at him and walked back into my bedroom. I don't know that. When he sent the link for the hangout, I instantly panicked, and my head started hurting, and everything in my house, all the power shut off and then clicked back on. I've been on video chats with Chris, and I don't remember most of the conversation or some of the conversations. Like there's points where I'll black, like I don't know what's happening. And then he's actually watched the lights slam off and on. At one point, he told me to flip the camera around and made me walk towards whatever it was. That didn't work out very well because the next morning I woke up and there was more bruising and he was very pissed off. In my bedroom, I always get, like, every time I'm coming into my bedroom, I get that dreadful feeling where, like, everything just feels heavy and you get scared and you're not sure why. And in the hallway, and he told me no, and he, like, made me walk towards there, and he won't exactly, like, explain to me what all happened. He said he tried to reach out and touch it, and it got really mad at him, and then in turn lashed out.
Okay, so we have a couple things at play. One is you are not managing your own pain. The other thing is you then open yourself up to entities that feed off that. I'm going to do as much as I can, but ultimately these things happen to us because it's a massive learning experience for us. It will change your existence, it will change who you are, it'll change why you're here. If you choose. If you don't choose to change, then this will remain as is, okay? So we have like these 4 quadrants. One is this hole in your heart, right? You've experienced a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of neglect, a lot of ignorance in your life. People have been ignorant towards you. They have neglected you. They have been mean to you. You've experienced a lot of pain. Okay, and that just dug away and created this hole in your heart, this crater, right? So we need to manage that. You manage that through therapy, first and foremost, and then you bring yourself to a meditation practice and to a yoga practice. But you need to start with therapy. You start there. And the reason why the therapy is tied into all of this is because you are vulnerable. You are incredibly vulnerable to everything and anything dark because of this hole you have in your heart, okay?
Growing up, I was heavily abused.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like how I coped with everything, was just to shut down.
Right. Understandable. It was survival mode, right? And so you're recreating abuse in your life. You feel like your only existence is to be abused because that's all you've known is abuse. So you will find every avenue to make sure that you continually be abused. In order for me to get rid of this energy, you have to want it to go. I can tell it to leave. I can say all kinds of stuff to it. But if you don't want it to go, it's not going. Okay? It's no different than when you're in a bad relationship and everyone tells you to get out, but you don't get out. You have to want this energy to leave. And if you don't want this energy to leave because it's feeding into your history of abuse, it's allowing you to feel victimized, which is where you feel comfortable. I'm not saying it's right. I'm asking you to start today to say, I no longer choose pain and suffering. I don't know what that means. I don't know how long it'll take, but I know pain and suffering. So let me tap into this energy and see what happens. Now, this energy, I can feel it. It's behind you. You got to understand, dark energy is weaker than light energy, okay? So the reason why dark energy persists is because it's fed with fear. So its fuel is fear. So the more fearful you become, the louder this energy becomes, right? Because it feeds off of your fear. That's what it's there for. I'm not scared of it, so it's not growing bigger. Can't do anything. I can ask it to leave, but it's up to you ultimately to get rid of it for good. I'm standing in between that energy and you right now. He can't get to you. It can't get to you, but I'm standing there. He knows he can't do anything as long as I'm in the room. Problem is I can't be in the room for the rest of your life. But the good news is you are just as powerful as I am. You're just coming into it. When I was younger, I had a lot of dark experiences to teach me about light. That's the only way we learn about light, is to experience darkness, right? Darkness cannot remain in your space if you ask it to leave. And when you ask it to leave, you feel it all the way down to your soul. You're going to burn the sage. You're going to hold a crystal in each hand. You'll put one on your chest and you'll call in your dad. And together, you're going to tell this energy that, you're done. You're not going to get angry at it. I mean, if you get angry, it's fine. But there's no need to get angry. Honestly, it's kind of like when your neighbor comes over and you're like, oh, God, I really don't want this guy here right now, right? Ask him to leave. It's that simple. Just ask him to leave. And it may not take one time. It might take more than that. But you have your setup now that you can manage this and you can ask him to leave. Okay. What does she do when that energy's around?
She runs. She doesn't come into my bedroom. This is actually surprised. Like, I'm surprised she's in here right now because she's not like that.
Yeah, she's in there because I'm in there. I'm standing in between the two of you and that energy. So let me know moving forward if there's anything I can do to help, but you have to do the work now. This is about you doing the work. And you've got this. If your guides thought for a minute that you couldn't handle it, the information would be very different. So a lot of questions come up when someone experiences a demonic presence in their home. And for someone who's never experienced it before, you either A, may not believe it, or wonder why is this happening at all? And is it even something that you can manage without a priest? So Ashley's experience, unfortunately, is not unusual in the sense that she's not the only one that have experienced this before. The problem is people need to be able to reach out for help and know that they deserve help and don't have to live with this entity in their space. In many cases, it's no different than if you have someone crashing on your couch for too long. You have to ask them to leave or they're not going to know you don't want them there, right? It's very similar to this, depending on the level of energy that's in your home, that you have allowed in your home. So it is our choice on whether or not these energies live in our space, dark or light. But a lot of times this happens to teach us something so that we can grow and develop spiritually and humanly. Either way, those energies are in our home for a reason, for us to learn and then for us to be able to move past that. Now, the energy that I witnessed was, I would say, a mid-level dark energy. It is absolutely manageable. It is meaning, let me clarify, it is manageable, meaning this is an energy that can be asked to leave by Ashley and that can be done away with. So my experience with being in Ashley's space and experiencing this dark energy, the dark energy to me it felt like, if I could put it into a visual for you, a 6 foot tall human being that was very large and was just a little pushy and like a bully. So if you can imagine that in human form, that was what was in her space. But the interesting spin about this energy was what you would imagine a bully to be like. Ultimately, at the end of the day, bullies are not confident, strong people. Bullies are actually the opposite. They're incredibly insecure, and unfortunately, they're very weak energetically and physically. So that's how this energy was. This energy was just like a human bully. The energy is big, but not strong. There's a difference, right? Just because you're big, it doesn't mean you're strong, physically or energetically. And this energy was big, but not strong. This energy, as you heard, was in Ashley's home because she's allowed herself to be vulnerable to it. And so this lesson for her is to tap into her power and to be able to say and take control of not only the energy in her space, but the energy in her life. So we see how fascinating it is that everything in our lives is connected and everything in our lives is there to teach us how to become bigger, better, stronger in spirit.
Booyah. Well, that actually is an interesting, I guess, precursor to tonight. And with the subject matter of tonight's Unexplained Cases Live. But anything else that you'd like to add on? Because that was from last.
God, I feel like I said a lot.
Well, I was about to say.
My hair's grown immensely since then. That's only been a year ago. Like, I felt like I looked like a little kid. That was a year ago. I think I've changed a lot, but you didn't want me to talk about me. I think everything still stands. Oh, there's Oliver. Sorry. Okay, Oliver, baby, go. Take away.
It's the Oliver
No,
show.
I mean, I felt like it was pretty thorough. I don't know what she's doing now. I don't know if she got help, but I mean, I think it's hard for people to be told they're the ones causing or creating their destiny. That's hard to hear, And I do understand when it's cases of trauma. Like for her, she experienced a lot of trauma as a child, and that's, for her, it wasn't about telling her you create your reality. For her, it's about getting into therapy and that pain to be acknowledged and healed and worked through first and foremost. And then later on, she learns how to, be responsible for her own existence. So right now, she's young. She needs to heal. She needs to have someone listen to her, hear her, and hopefully she found that.
Absolutely.
I forgot I have a reading, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to start. So I have a question, which I love these questions. This question is, I want to find out what my super sense is. I love those questions because I like when people are seeking their own answers. Like, and she knows when she taps into her super sense, she will have found the ability to find her own way through and her own answers. But anyway, this is for Mia, but I do also want to say, I'm going to counteract what I just said. You all have the power to find your own super sense. You don't need me to tell you what it is. But if spirit says it's okay for me to tell you, then I'll tell you, but you all have the power to find that within yourselves. Mia is a seer. She sees future. You see past, you see potential. So your ability is to see. Feel, you feel in the gut. We've talked about this a million times. We all have all of them. It's which one is kind of your thing, and yeah, you see, but I could be wrong. I don't feel like you see spirits. You know how some people and I very rarely do this. They'll actually see ghosts, spirits, but they'll be like, oh, did you just see that or whatever? And I'm not that visual in that respect. I see when I read, but I'm seeing with my third eye. Mia, you're very similar to that. I'm not saying you can't see, but meaning you can't see a spirit passing by or whatever. It's just, I don't feel like it's necessarily your strength. Your strength is to know. And when I say see, you're seeing with your third eye, you're seeing with your psychic ability, that ability to see the future, the ability to see someone's past, someone you don't know. And then the ability to see people's potential and your potential. And so you have these three areas that you are psychically capable, if not already experiencing. And if you're not totally tuned into it, you'll feel it through your gut because you feel people also. So find that daily practice, opening up that third eye, grounding for your gut. Find some Kundalini, Guru Singh, but you got it. Hi, Vicky. Can you reach out to my mother, Peggy? Ask her if she can tell me who took my rings right after her passing. I know Vicky. We've seen Vicky's face before. I can try, but I may need your mom's picture. Well, plus, if I'm going to start accusing people of thievery, I need to be really accurate. Yeah, I need to see. This is what I need, Vicky. I need a picture of the rings if you have it, and then a picture of your mom. Email me that. I know if I don't respond to your email within 48 hours, then go to Facebook, DM us, or reach out to Rick, because I know some people aren't able, are saying they email and I don't respond. I always respond within 48 hours. So if I haven't, it's because I didn't get it then. But yeah, Vicky, send me that info, okay? Your mom's picture, and if you have pictures of the rings. If you don't, that's okay. so we can really nail it down. Alexis, I know you, don't I? I know that face for sure. Any messages from my, let's see. No, this is interesting. I'm feeling this as a feminine spirit. Maybe, doesn't mean it was I'm not saying gender, I'm saying a feminine energy. So I'm going to refer to her as she, but I don't want to attach a gender because I don't, gender is fluid. So, but for the sake of conversation, she is asking why you're still she's not asking like, what's wrong with you? Why are you still upset? Why do you care? She's not like that. Just, why are you still attached? You don't need to be anymore. It's okay. You can detach. You can move and let go of me and what I brought, because that lesson has been learned. That lesson in karma is done. It's over. It's clear. You can detach. People, it's hard for a lot of people to hear me say things like that, especially with the loss of a child. I'm just relaying the information, and you asked, but I know that it can be hard to hear because Bruce has a hard time when our animals pass, letting go. He stays attached. There's nothing wrong with that. What we don't want to do is avoid the lesson of why they were in our lives and avoiding the lesson of why they passed. And sometimes we avoid that lesson by being stuck on missing them and being connected to them. There's nothing wrong with disconnecting when an animal or human has passed, whether it's an adult or a child, and disconnecting and understanding that they're not embodied. Their spirit has evolved exactly the way it was supposed to. There's no need for us to dwell. I'm not saying don't feel and don't be sad and don't mourn. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when it sounds like, Alexis, you may be at a point in mourning, maybe this happened 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I don't know, that you are being alerted that it's okay for you to let this go. It's okay for you to move on. This spirit is still with you, but I don't know for how much longer, because she is a young soul, and so she has work for her to do, and she has school for her to go to, and for her soul to come back through in another way, in another time. But she's still here because you're still understandably connected and attached. Know that when you connect to the cosmos, when you have that daily meditation practice, when you know that you have access to all information always, whomever you've lost, animals or pets, are always accessible. Even if they come back through body, and don't ask me how that works because it's confusing, but I know that it does, you still have the ability to communicate anytime, always, even if you have quote unquote disconnected and allowed and accepted the death and said, I understand and I've learned. Thank you for the experience. Does that make sense? So that's the information. I'm sorry, I wasn't lecturing you. I was passing on information from her, okay? Hi, Jessica. Well, this is an interesting question. I don't want to, I have to be careful how I answer it because I want you to go in feeling good. Let me ask, hold on. It feels, yes. It may not be exactly what you thought it was going to be. And it feels like there might be some changes they're in the midst of. So if you were to get the job, it might look a little bit different than what you talked about originally. But yes, and you'll actually do, it feels like you'll have a really great interview actually. And second and third, if they do thirds, or maybe that third is, I don't know. I don't want to give you false hope. So, but it feels, yes.
Now, here's an example. We may need a picture. This is also a little generic, but I thought I would share it anyway because I think that's everybody's question.
So I need your face, I need your name, and we want one specific question, not that's a general reading. That's a reading that costs $150 an hour.
So not at all picking on you, joyful spirit, but just also using this as a teachable moment of how to better ask a question during this time.
Yeah, swing back around. Hi, Susan. Let's see when unemployment will be. I'm retiring in a couple weeks, and I will need to work part-time. Oh, I'm so glad you're retiring, Susan. Not that it's any of my business, but it really is time for you. Jewelry. I think I said jewelry before for you. Hands, something with your hands. Or soaps. I feel like maybe you're working with some like little family owned company that makes either like something with their hands, like jewelries or soaps or something like that. That's just a really easy, energetically enjoyable experience. Make sure that this job that you get is not chosen based on money. You are being asked to find a fulfilling experience for yourself, and do not let money be the deciding factor. I understand we all have bills and we need to live at a certain rate, but understand also when you follow spirit and follow a higher consciousness, the money follows. Okay? That means we make good choices. Now, I'm not saying if someone asks you to work for free and it's a jewelry company, you go, well, she said, don't worry about money. I'm not saying that. Be aware of money. Know that when you have, they're saying like it could be that this would be like a part-time thing that would allow you to do something else. And both of those experiences would be something you really loved. So you wouldn't even feel like you're working. Does that make sense? So they're saying like an example of not making the decision about money, like it's less money than you want, but it's something you would love. And it gives you though that freedom and energy that you want to go help out on Saturdays at this other place that pays just enough money that were the two of, to both those jobs work hand in hand and they don't even feel like work because you love doing it. Does that make sense? You need to just chill after you retire. I'm not jumping in immediately and looking for work. You need to they're saying like 3 to 6 weeks, okay? Before you jump into work. Teresa, is that how we say it?
We'll go with that. Sorry.
Teresa, I hope so. I don't want to mispronounce it. Okay, I have a loved one that passed. His name is Devin. I just want to know if he has something to say. Yeah, he does. You are, oh, this is interesting. You are a shining light that only certain people are allowed to see, and that you should be sharing that with everybody confidently. Thank you. He's saying thank you for some reason. Maybe you'll know. And something like do me do me proud, or like you'll know what that means, like, and it's feeling like it's aligning with like a destined path for you, that you are denying yourself something and it's time for you to make him proud and do this thing that you all talked about or that you have wanted. Come out of the shadows for sure. I hope that resonates.
Now,
Hi, Erin.
This is her first time. I'll go ahead and answer that and say yes. I'm not supposed to answer these questions.
Oh, Erin, listen. I feel like your mother right now. As long as you are safe and you are standing 6 feet and you are wearing a mask. That's not why you're asking, but I feel like I know you well enough. No, you know what was actually kind of hurtful to me growing up, but I heard a lot was not what you think, Maryam. I want to know what spirit thinks. And it was like, I was just about to say, I know no one wants to hear from me. They want to hear with what the big guy says. But I'm sorry. It's genderless. Sorry, Rick. It ain't a guy. I mean, come on. How can God be a male when women create life? Anyway, is that what you're asking, Aaron? Okay. Aaron, I don't know. I have mixed messages on this. I'm not going to lie. I'm getting mixed messages on this. I'm feeling a hesitation. Let's put it that way. I'm feeling a hesitation. And I think that hesitation is for good reason. Yeah, there's a hesitation. They're saying follow your gut because there's a reason why you're hesitating. Follow that. And it's not because of the motherly stuff I said to you. Oh, Mia. Oh. I'm like, Mia, I just read you. What are your spirit guides like? You got it. You know what? This is where I'm going to be a mom. I want you to do that work. Okay. I want you to connect with your higher self, and I want you to find out what they're like. And yes, spirit guides are always with everyone. It's not like some people have spirit guides and some people don't. Everyone has them always. It's just, are you listening? Are you there? Are you listening? And Mia, yeah, I want you to do that homework or else I'm doing everything for you. You can do this. I will give you a hint. They feel a little fairy-like. That's your hint. I mean, that's all I'm betting. I'm not hiding anything from you. I would never do that. But that's what they're saying. Let her do the work, but they do feel a little fairy-like. So if you were already kind of feeling that, go with that because you're right. Oh, my mom just passed away on Friday due to oh, I'm so sorry, Lizzie. Lizzie, why don't you send me a picture of your mom so I can and her name, and then I can do a direct communication for you next week, okay? I know it's still really raw, so I'd rather be really specific for you than guess at it. Not that I ever guess, but I don't want to force it because I feel your pain. So email me, and then we'll do a clear read next week. I'm so sorry.
Last question.
Hi, Jordan. My question for today is, which one of my super senses do I need to focus on? Hearing. Hearing. For sure. That's going to run all the way down your throat too. So open up the throat while you're focusing on hearing. The two go together. Yep. Yeah, because it's all ears. It's all ears. Look into, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not recommending this. I'm just going to say this. Look into ear candling. Yeah. And then you can kind of offline reach out to me if needed. But for sure, you're all ears. Because I think I remember saying you're very similar to me. And that's all this. Did I stress that enough? It's all this.
Does that mean you listen well?
No, God, no. It doesn't mean I listen well. It's the opposite. Actually, it's the opposite of that. When spirit speaks, I shut my hole and I listen. But
I was about to say, I don't know if you shut your hole and you're trying to listen to me. So
totally, I don't.
I mean, come on. So, my goodness, everybody, thank you so much for being here today. Anyone I don't believe I missed anybody. I think I covered all the questions. I do know Vicky was, I think she was trying, you may have been trying to attach a picture in comments, and you actually can't do that. So the simplest thing to do would be to send Miriam the email. I had that scrolling at the bottom, and it's also in the description of the video, maryamlive at unexplainedcases.com. And then that way we could be able to address that next week. If anyone happened to have a question, though, that I did miss, same thing, send it to that address. We appreciate everyone for being here today. Be back tonight, this channel.
Me and Angela.
Unexplained Cases Live. Gonna get crazy. Gonna have two psychics, two mediums, basically, up in the house.
Make sure you're there.
Absolutely.
Susan, Mia, you want to learn about your super senses? Come tonight. Everyone who is here today should come solely to practice utilizing their abilities, because I'm going to need a lot of help.
Yep, this is a group effort tonight. So we don't normally have shows like this. We normally have a guest and we're interviewing or we're doing a live investigation. This one has a solo purpose of basically clearing out property, and so this will be special. And then also, Angela did do a painting.
Oh, cool. Ooh,
So
I'm sure it's creepy.
Visualization of what's going on there. But last and not least, everybody, happy holidays.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
We'll catch you on the flip side.
Find your Santa hat for tonight, please.
Thank you.